Okay, Mustafa, 1765. Okay, I'm gonna play a fianchetto variation. And it looks like he's just, oh, he's going for a Benoni style structure. Let's defend the center with the e-pawn and not push. So I keep these two pawns here. Mustafa played his opening moves very quickly. Convenient. So that doesn't really threaten this because knight and queen are defending. Queen is attacking directly, bishop is attacking indirectly. What it does do is it keeps my bishop kind of pinned down. I could move my knight to hit the queen. Could move my queen to offer a trade. I could put the queen here. Let's see, until he moves the knight out of the way, he can't put the bishop here. Or I could put my queen here looking at this pawn. I kind of like that. Defending this one too. I was getting onto the second rank to defend this pawn so I can develop my bishop. This is still defended adequately. This is not. So he has to decide what he wants to do. He doesn't care. Is my queen getting trapped there? Yes, it is. The knight supports the rook. I take, rook takes, and I can't take here. But if I had a bishop on this square, I could take. So he decided to defend the pawn after all. Now, I could take this pawn almost. If he takes back with the pawn. Oh, no. I can't do that yet. Cannot do that. Besides the queen defending it. But it was the knight defending the rook was the main problem. So what? I'd like to get rid of this knight, but I guess it's not so simple. I could play knight here. Knight takes, pawn takes, then this pawn is hanging. Let's bring a rook over to defend this pawn in lieu of my queen. Then I could... he voluntarily got rid of that knight for me. Let's think about this then. So pawn here hits the queen. If he takes... Take back... No, he just keeps taking, and then this is defended. Yeah, I wanted to get an extra attacker on this square so that the queen couldn't take back. He had to take with the pawn, and then with the knight not defending the rook anymore, this pawn is pinned. So that would be cool, but not happening. No way to bring a second piece to attack here without... with tempo. Needs to be done with tempo. We'll do this instead. Potential threat against the queen. He just goes back. Okay, so knight here. Yeah, let's just bring the other rook over. And then raise this pawn up. So he hasn't gone after my bishop, putting the knight here to go after the bishop. It's like a standard idea here, but he's not doing it. Let's see, knight here is possible now. He takes, I'll take back with the tempo on his queen, but I don't have these doubled pawns. I don't know if they're that valuable. But it does get rid of this knight. And it is with tempo. The queen goes here, I can bring the rook up. So the queen does not go there. I can still bring the rook up. I guess I'm not really threatening to take here. Because it's defended. Yes, so he does that. I was wondering if I can just leave the rook there. My idea was to take with a pawn and then support it with this pawn and claim that as compensation for the exchange. Can't support it with this pawn. Can push again. But what I'd really like to do is attack this pawn, I think. I kind of want to push here and take it with the bishop after pushing here. Okay, so he stopped that. Maybe I should have pushed there immediately. Can put the knight here. Opens up the bishop here. Your opponent left the game. Yeah, you can claim victory. This is kind of a dubious position to claim victory from, but he left the game. And I have put some thought into this one. Yeah, I'm going to claim a victory. We'll go ahead and ask the computer what it thinks of this position. Thinks white is better. Now, isn't that interesting? So I gave up the exchange for a pawn. But is it even a pawn? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, I just pure exchange down. But this is a pretty powerful setup. And I don't know, why isn't this good? I take, he takes, go here and pin the knight. Well, it just shows white being better the whole way. I guess if the queen, I was thinking queen would come over here and round up this pawn, but actually I can take this pawn if he's not careful. And this is an annoying pin here, I guess. If the queen can't move, can't defend this pawn from another square. Let's see, rook up, what do I do? It's recommending h4. What if he pushes here so he doesn't have to defend that? Then what do I do? Ah, then I Yeah, so he's stuck defending like that. Yeah, gets better and better for me. That's pretty interesting. Okay, let's play another game. Play a rapid game. So it wasn't unwarranted of me to claim the victory. It's not like I was losing in that position. Plus a draw against a player rated 100 points lower would cost me some rating points. Matthias Poblete. Matthias Poblete. Good rating, 2064. Ah. I thought seeing this, it frequently signals the the London system, but he brought this out. So this is could be going for a Jobava attack, although he brought this out first. I don't know if that's normal. Well, let's play a Slav. Defend this pawn, which he can't attack with a pawn, so it becomes pretty solid. And then this pawn on c6 keeps the knight from hopping in here and coordinating with his bishop. So bishop to there is pretty standard. I'm not going to be able to play e5 in one go, or maybe at all. So I'll play e6 and get castled. See how he goes from here. Now, if I were to move my knight to here, attacking his bishop, he would probably take, but then my knight would be out here in an exposed position. But let's see, his knight can't take anything, so as if his knight moves here or here, I'll just come back. Yeah, let's attack his bishop. Force something with that dark squared bishop. I don't want to take it here and give him these pawns on this. It gets pawns here and here, clamping down on e5. Not good. Even though he has doubled pawns, there's no real weak pawn in that structure. He can even bring a piece out to... he can move this knight out of the way and push a pawn up to support this pawn. So he decided to think. If he moves the knight, I will take the bishop and suffer this structure, but I'll have the bishop pair and this pawn will be under pressure. That will be the difference. Whereas if I just trade bishops, then I don't have a bishop to attack that pawn with. Now he has an advantage in development in this position, so maybe he can find something. I don't think that's correct. I really don't. Ah, I see his idea. His idea is that he could move his queen. He can move this knight with check. And then the queen can take my knight. So I take the bishop. He goes here with check. I move back. He takes my knight. And he's gotten this attack pretty much for free because I got a bishop, he got a knight, and he even got a pawn. And after I take, he comes here, check. I go back, queen comes here. The queen is threatening mate immediately. I have to move my rook. Queen can take here. Yeah, that's all bad. Okay. This was a surprising, to me, instance of a Greek gift. So I should have moved that pawn up to h6 first, before starting on this maneuver with the knight. And, I mean, a key point is the knight can come here because his bishop is outside the pawn chain and supporting that square, supporting the knight on that square. So yeah, this was all made possible by my knight move. So if I had pushed the h-pawn before I moved the knight, then this would not have been possible, I don't think. Anyway, well spotted, Matthias. I am going to play on. Let's see what he does. This knight is a little bit out of play. But maybe he wants to push the e-pawn now. Since I've already shown that I'm not willing to take that bishop, he can just leave it there. He doesn't have to save it right away. Although I could trap the bishop with g6, so maybe he should just retreat the bishop. He might be thinking of moving his bishop here. Moves the bishop there. I have a couple of options. One is to bring my bishop back to match it. Another option is to bring my knight back. Oh, but he just trades. Okay. That's how you get that out of trouble. And then, yeah, then he retreats the bishop, and he's just got a pawn for nothing. He got a free pawn. I still want to get in e5. Maybe it's not appropriate in this situation where my opponent has opened things up, but I would still like to do that. e5, d takes, e takes, knight takes, queen takes, and I'm defending my knight. Or if he kicks my knight, I go back to f6. So he goes there. Yeah. You have to take. He gained another tempo. If I didn't take this, what I want to do is put a knight on this square, and then this would be too devastating, that fork. So push there. So we'll just come back with the knight. Want to trade off this knight and bring the knight here. Which that stops me from doing. Okay, so I have to do this, I guess. So yeah, just to show you, if I take the knight, he doesn't respond. He just comes out here with check, and then I have no move except here, and then it's mate. So I can't take that knight. I can go here though. That'll keep his queen out of this square. And taking the knight then threatens to take the bishop, the other knight. I take the knight, he takes back, I take this knight. So he goes there. Let's take. Yeah, so he didn't take with the bishop, he took with the knight. And now I can't put another knight there, which I want to do. So let's lift my king up. I mean, this is not a good position for the knight. It's blocking my bishop for one thing. So I will place it here, even at the cost of some trades. But I might just get into a lost endgame, being a pawn down. Bishops are the same color, 2 rooks. Like, if he does nothing, I move my knight here. Knight takes, queen takes, queen takes, king takes. My king is out. I'll have better king position. But that's the only thing The only thing I will have going for me. Okay, so well, now I could put the knight here. I could lift this pawn up and open up a diagonal for my bishop. That's what I want to do. And bishop here might be interesting. He may be looking for good discoveries with his knight, but if the knight moves, then this knight will not be under attack by his knight, so I can move my queen pretty much anywhere. And I still would like to get my bishop out to there. And if I do that, I will have actually gotten all my pieces off the back rack. Okay, where's a good square for my queen? Maybe here. Try and prevent his rook from coming in here, keeping out of the sight of the other rook, staying on a dark square so his bishop can't attack me. And still the possibility of lifting my bishop with tempo. Yeah, so he goes there. We will play a bishop here then. It's better than nothing, I guess. Here he just takes it, so. Let's see, here, if he takes my pawn on g6, so if I put the bishop here, he might try this, and I can't take with the pawn because his rook will take back, but I can take with the king, I think. I think I can. And now I'll put the bishop here if I can. There we go. So I'm defended by this pawn instead of this pawn, so a more secure defense. My bishop is defended by that pawn. So he is once again threatening to take my knight. But his knight is pinned. He could take here with the queen. Okay, if I move my knight away, he can't put anything here, but he could kick my knight. Could put the knight here, threatening pawn to f4, a bit pawn to f5, attacking the pinned knight. Let's see. Yeah. Queen and knight here, but he's got control of this square, so knight going there. It's not more than a fantasy, I guess. Also, I can bring the rook out. One of these rooks. Put him on the central file. I probably should do that pretty soon. But I had to do something about the knight. He was threatening to just take it. Okay, pawn up. He takes the bishop. I take the knight. He takes the pawn. I take the pawn. Don't like that especially. So let's do this. I do have knight to g4, knight g5 rather, forking these two pieces. The queen will have to move. And then I can take it, but it's just a trade. Let's put the rook here first. It's still not great because if I put the knight here and the queen moves and I take, unless the queen moves into a bad square, but if the queen goes here, I take, it's still just a trade. Rook takes, knight takes, queen takes. Well, knight here, the queen moves. If I could double rooks, that would be something. The one good thing about a knight versus a bishop this stage of the game is that you have a lot of squares that you can put your pieces on. Yeah. So he just retreated. All the dark squares are kind of available. So what I mean... So moving the knight out, the queen will move, and then put the knight here to block the attack on my rook. Keep the more force on. Queen can move with check. But it can't win my knight, so... The checking squares here that I see, and then I can just step back with my king. I think that's okay. So he goes there. Yeah, then I go here. Rook takes, rook takes. That's not good, I guess. Oh. No, that's if I go here, now this trick is working. So he could play bishop takes pawn. I can't take with the king, I have to take with the pawn. And then his queen and rook are coordinating on this square, so we can take my knight. So what do? I think I need to defend the knight. Could go here. He could kick me with a pawn. That would be unfortunate. I could go here, but it's not helping to solve my knight problem much. Maybe I defend with a pawn, but then this becomes loose. I can take the rook with check first. And that would give me some squares on this file. But I still can't go here, and he kicks. I won't be able to go here. It's only here and here. They're away from the pawns, and the queen covers this square, and the rook covers this square. Rook here, I guess he lifts a pawn. He plays he plays f5 if I do that. Well, when you've exhausted all the possibilities, whatever remains should be played, I guess. You can put a rook here. But then I will be able to bring my queen out at least. He will get a pawn. I will get... he goes there first, okay. I wanted to get my knight back in action, even if it's momentarily pinned. I think I can unpin. If he comes in with the queen, I can play rook here check. It's a clever trick to divert the rook and then take the queen. So the queen can't come into this square. The knight covers this square and the rook covers this square. Yeah, so he attacks the pinned knight. So I have to immediately unpin. His pawns are a bit loose. Maybe I'll be able to do something. Getting low on time here. Bring my rook into here. Oh, he goes after a pawn. Oh. Okay, so queen here. Threatening the bishop. And the rook, if the bishop moves carelessly. Queen could come back and defend, or the bishop could move here. Queen defends there. Okay, he's going to trade the bishop for the knight. I take the bishop, he pushes a pawn. I'll defend with the rook. Anyway, I'm low on time. Huh. Oh. Need to get my queen back to where it can defend the rook here. And let's see. Where's a good square to go to? Yeah, I can't go here this time. I'm going to unpin, but now he can just go into a king and pawn endgame, and he should. Rook takes, queen takes, queen takes, rook takes. But I'm going to step up with my king. That's the point of this maneuver. Then take his rook. He's trying to get his pawns in the best position possible first before going into the endgame. It's good technique. Okay. So I'm going to have to move my king over to this side in a hurry and see if I can hold these pawns off while rounding these pawns up. I still have better king position. It's not entirely a closed and shut and closed case. Let's see, if he takes and I take back, it'll be trouble because this pawn will pass. Step over here with the king, so if he takes, I can take back with the king. I didn't want to just take, I wanted to get my king over here as fast as possible. Now I can take. If I had a pawn here and he pushed and I took, he pushed, I push, he pushes, I push, he queens. I mean, he go here. I think I'm one step short. Yeah, so this is not going to work for me. But we will do what we can. Yeah. Because this one pawn doesn't hold these two pawns back. So I have to take these two, and he takes mine quicker. And that's it. Okay, good game. Well, anyway, I hope you found that interesting or showed some good technique, mainly by my opponent, but that's what happens sometimes. I'll see you around. Bye.